Good evening. Thank you all so much for coming. My name's Melanie. I'm here. I'm also a huge supporter of Dr. White and everything he's doing. I was here to say welcome and thank you. So now it's my privilege to introduce Dr. Yusuko Taoka, who is going to introduce the actual visiting. So, thank you.
Hi, everybody. Woo. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for coming today and to see Dr. White's feature film here. I've had the pleasure of knowing Dr. White for about 3 years now, and he has been really integral in bringing the digital film program here to Wayne State and really revitalizing it. Really making it a place and a showcase for students not only to learn about cinema and make cinema, but also to analyze it. And I hope many of you here are participants in that program or will consider being participants in that program. Great thanks to the Majestic, who also premiered Dr. White's film last year, The Ghost in Her. So, it is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Michael G. White, the director of Ever Fallen.
I turned 50 this year, so I have to wear my glasses. I can't see. Thanks for coming to the world premiere of Ever Fallen. I just wanted to say really quickly that there were over 120 very, very talented people that worked on the production of this film. We have, to keep from being really, really overcrowded, we decided to have 3 showings. We have the showing tonight, another showing in the same venue, and then also there'll be an 80-seat showing. The film was selected as the feature for the Sioux City Film Festival this year. They typically show one feature, and we were lucky enough that they chose this film, so we're very happy to have that. Also, the film is being looked at by a couple other festivals and a distribution too, so you should be able to see it in distribution probably in the next year. I wanted to go ahead and mention a few really talented people and thank some people for tonight. Jay Collier of Wayne State College Relations. This event would not have been possible without Jay. He's not here tonight, but I think he deserves a round of applause, so a big hand for Jay. Melanie Loggins, who was down here earlier, who's my dear, dear friend, and she is encyclopedic knowledge of film, so a big hand for Melanie. She's up there hiding. Okay, so now I'm going to just make a list. The faculty, staff, and administration of the best college in the central United States, Wayne State College, who I love with my heart. My heart is here, and this is my home. So thank you to all of them. Dr. Yusuko Taoka, my dean, the Dean of Humanities, who's been such a huge supporter. Dr. Deb Witt is here today. She is our department head, always there for us when we need her. Dr. Michael Merrick, who's taking the pictures today. He is a terrific friend and colleague. A lot of the successes I have are due to Dr. Merrick. Tom Schmitz, our media engineer today. Many of you who I have met earlier in the day, he's a brilliant guy. I do want to also mention one very important person who's here, who's been a huge, huge supporter of film, not just here, but all over Nebraska. She's a giant supporter of independent film, and she is the film commissioner of the state of Nebraska. She's hiding in the corner. Lori Richards, the Nebraska film commissioner, is here. So big hand for Lori. The cities of Wayne, Sioux City, Lincoln, and Sioux Falls were really, really welcoming to this project. Permits and everything were a breeze. It was wonderful to make a film in the Midwest in a place where films aren't usually made, so we're very thankful for them. Also, I wanted to mention the Hagerden family, Darren and Leslie Hagerden. They were really supportive through this process. We even had a day that one of our actors had canceled, and we were able to use them as stand-ins. It was terrific, so keep an eye out for them in the film. Leslie was always on the lookout for costume pieces, so it was always really funny because Shelby would come in with costume pieces that Leslie had tracked down during the week, so it was always really fun. Ron and Gia Emery of the Sioux City Conservatory of Music were the music consultants on this. If you don't know the name Ron Emery is kind of the punk legend from the band TSOL. He actually was on set playing guitar at certain portions, so we wanted to thank them. And then I'm going to point out 2 of the most important people. My dear, dear friend Mark Festos, who's been my friend since I was 14. And Nikki Thompson, the two associate producers. So I'd like you two to stand up, and we'd like to give you guys a hand. Nikki, where are you? Thank you. Everyone who's here who worked on this film, could you stand up for just a moment so I can see you? Everyone who worked on this film is here. This is a fraction of the people who worked on this film. Go ahead and sit back down. Thank you so much. Big hand for everybody. I'm a proud member of Film Independent. I just wanted really quickly to say, film is our greatest cultural export. If you look at any of the art that's made in the United States, people all around the world talk about American film. It is a historical record of the zeitgeist of our time. Also, it is the freedom to express stories that would not otherwise be told. This film was made on a shoestring budget. It was made for $4,000 and the goodwill of 120 people who wanted to see a film made. That doesn't happen in very many places. We gave up funding for the film to make a film that we really wanted to be made, and the film you're going to see tonight is exactly what I wanted it to be. I screened this film in the cinema, and it is exactly what I want. There's nothing I would change about it. I also finally wanted to go ahead and thank the wonderful students of the Hot Attic, all my wonderful electronic media students, who are going to be the best gosh darn filmmakers in the central United States. We are Film Independent. This is not my night. This night belongs to the 120 people who worked on this film to make it a reality, and I hope you love it. So, here's Ever Fallen. Enjoy the film.
Okay, it looks like we have everyone here. Again, I'm Melanie. I'm going to be moderating this Q&A session. I have your questions here. So I was going to say, would you like to introduce everyone first?
Sure, I'll introduce everybody really fast. One of my very best friends is Mark Bustos. He was the executive producer. If you don't know what that means, he's the money guy. He put up half of the money for the film, but he's also helped with the production design as well. He's a great production designer and a special effects guy, so he did all the special effects for the film. That's absolutely, he was at every single shoot. My good friend Nikki Thompson, who started out as a makeup artist, she actually was promoted to producer, actually, halfway through. So she's phenomenal. So we love her. And this was the first time she associate produced, so great. Shelby Hagerden was the only person who was cast in advance on the project. And she is a junior at Wayne State College. She's one of our own. From Minnesota, our dear friend, Nathan Talbert. We found through an open casting. He's absolutely terrific. We love him. So thank you. Max Henderson. Max actually also found through an open casting from Sioux City. Very talented theater actor. We're really happy that he's here. Ryan Shearer, who I originally envisioned as Ari when I wrote this script. I met her during an audition for The Ghost in Her. And then she was always kind of who I had in mind. And she is an acting major. It's acting at USD. I don't remember what they call it. Acting major at USD. Yep. Leslie Worden, who is from The Ghost in Her. She's also a fellow academic, I should say, not here, but at Morningside College. So she's there, very talented stage actress. Brendan Smith, who is a Wayne State College alum, who was one of the two assistant directors on the project. He worked very, very hard, very talented, has his own production company in Sioux City. Allie Boyd, who is our colorist and a Wayne State College sophomore. She was the only underclassman really to work on this project because she's such a gifted colorist. She worked on the color for the film. And then, of course, Gary, because he left his seat. Gary Lewis, who is a professional actor and comedian from Sioux City. He was also in The Ghost in Her. Obviously, he plays Julie's dad. Sean Dunn, who is a very gifted writer, who actually has been working on the project for some time too. He worked as a production assistant. He didn't come down, but Casey Kappas is here, who worked as the casting director. And he's a great casting director. He's very connected, seems to know everybody. So he did a wonderful job helping us get the casting stuff. So, but just wanted to let you know about that too. Okay, so thank you.
Okay.
And I'm Mike White. I wrote, produced, directed the film.
Woo!
There's me.
Okay, so we had a few that were basically the same question, which was, what was your inspiration for this movie?
For people who were here a year ago and saw The Ghost in Her, The Ghost in Her was based on a short story that I wrote. My dear friend Joe Peschel, who's a literary critic, is always my first read. We went through it, and that story, that film's done really well at festival this year. It's done really good. Gary stars in it as Alex. Got a lot of questions about the backstory as that went on, and there was a backstory in the original short story, which was then turned into a screenplay. And I wanted to kind of go back and revisit those characters. And a lot of it was I just really liked the people that worked on The Ghost in Her, the Bitter Hipster folks. I liked them a lot. That's what we call the production company. We really, really I liked everybody I worked with so much, and they were all asking me to do some things. And then a bigger project, and then I sat down and I wrote it in like 12 weeks. It didn't take long to write. It was just, I'm a pretty productive writer, so I sat down and wrote it in that period of time. But I think a lot of it was, just like a lot of work, a lot of things are very, very personal in it. They're kind of personally inspired, so I suppose.
Okay, so that kind of answers another question that was in here for those of you who have seen The Ghost in Her. Because the question was, do Julie and Remy end up together in the end?
I don't know. I don't know. I like the unrequited love thing a lot. I think it's fun. When The Ghost in Her was based on a conversation I heard at a record store between a clerk talking about his former girlfriend who had sold out, and she had become so different. I just don't know. Shelby plays Julie so different than Julie was intended on the page. Julie was intended on the page to be very different, and then Shelby played it in a very different way. So, if the question is, do they end up together, or if there was a sequel, would they be together? I really have no idea.
Well, not if it's The Ghost in Her, if that's their follow-up.
Well, my God,
no.
that's not it, yeah. Because that's pretty painful.
And that kind of, maybe you sort of answered this as well, but I think it's worth asking, is this movie in any way autobiographical?
I want to know who asked that question. There's a lot of things in it, I think, without getting too weird about it. Early, when we very first started, we went on a scouting trip to try to costume, and I think there was 4 of us. It was me and Shelby and Ryan, and I think there was a 4th person. Oh, Elise, my daughter Elise came along. Oh, and yeah. We went to Omaha for a scouting trip for costumes. But anyway, we went to Omaha and we went on a scouting trip, and Shelby was there. We're having dinner, and Shelby just really nonchalant leans across the table and goes, "You're Remy, aren't you?" Just really and it was never really something that had hit me like that, but there are real elements of Remy. I suppose. Yeah, that's true. But I've got 2 really close friends here. My friend Leslie is here, who is from a writer's group called Rite of Passage, and my friend Lee is here. Where are you, Lee? Did you vanish? There she is, from Rite of Passage. We had a really dear friend. She was one of the most brilliant writers I ever knew. She died a few years ago. She was in this group, and she once told me, she said, if you really want to write anything that matters, you've got to kind of go to this place inside yourself that hurts. And there is some of that there. I think, especially the scenes at the Bridgemount, I think are very personal things. And the scene in the museum where he says, you can love someone desperately and never really understand them. Those are really personal things. And that's very hard. Like today before I came and showed this film, Shelby had came to me and she asked me if I was scared. And I said, yeah, I'm really scared because you're putting a lot of personal things up there. And you never know how people are going to react. Are people not going to understand it? Are they going to be a rude jerk and laugh at it? Or, you don't know. You don't know what. But if you don't make yourself vulnerable, then if you don't risk anything, then you never speak to anyone. I think that's it.
Okay, we have a couple of not quite so intense questions. Does the guy who plays Remy really play music?
Nathan, here, I'm going to hand this to you.
Guy who plays Remy?
Well, I used to be forced to take piano lessons, so I know how to play Yankee Doodle really good. And old MacDonald had a farm. But I can strum on the guitar a little bit better than piano, but no, I'm not really a genius or a prodigy magician. Or musician by any means. But thanks for asking.
Sorry.
Okay, and this one, feel free. I think it's hilarious, so I put it in. But feel free to just plead the fifth. What do you have against cheerleaders?
I have nothing against cheerleaders at all. It could have been anything. It just happened to be the one thing her mother was forcing her to do. And she could have been forcing her to be in the glee club. Who knows? But it was the fact that there had to be a tug of war. And I'm sorry the poor cheer squad had to suffer, but that was just what we had to do.
And then another not very serious one. Did Julie really pierce her nose? I've been looking this whole time.
Mark can answer that question.
That was a sleight of hand trick, camera angles, and fake blood, and a lot of crimson.
I stabbed my nose pretty hard though, so I mean, there's that. And I always have the nose piercing like real tight, so it kind of looks like maybe it's surf, but nope, no piercing. Let's do it. Who's gonna say
Not here.
Let's
Not
go.
here. We're not that kind of theater.
Dirk's
We're not
ready.
that kind of clearance.
Parents are freaking out.
They left. It's fine.
We have rubbing alcohol in the building there. Okay.
Okay.
I like this question a lot, obviously. Where did you get the music for this movie?
The music was difficult because we tried really hard to negotiate some things. I write to music all the time, so we wanted a piece of music called Synesthesia for the Bridgemont scene, which we could not get the rights for. The Kiss scene was a song called Constantine by Andrew McMahon, which is not for sale at any price. That's a really weird thing, but it's a song that he wrote for his wife, so you cannot buy that for any reason, which is weird. And the last song we have on condition. So what that means is I can't go anywhere, but the minute it's sold, they get paid. So we have it on condition. So that's the case. And we have had distribution approach on this. We have had people contact us about distribution. So what that means is, will you be able to see it on streaming with your paid subscription? And the answer to that is very likely. So yeah.
How did you get permission to be in the museum in Sioux City?
We asked. We asked, and they wanted to do it, and it was a thing where we had to pay the hourly for there to be someone there. The thing is, you got to be a little bit gutsy. The trickiest place was the Lincoln Airport, of which Lori Richards got permission like 10 minutes. She just made a couple of phone calls and said, I got you an airport. It was very, very simple. So know your film commission and utilize them. They're wonderful. The nightclub was the most expensive. We paid by the hour. It was expensive, but it was worth it.
Okay, so there's one more question on the card, and then I have a question, and they're both big. Okay, so the one on the card here is, what are you going to do next?
Okay. I have 2 scripts in the works. I have a script called 8 Days with Karen, which is the next punk rock movie. I don't know if it's going to be a full-length film or if it's going to be a shorter project. I'm not quite sure. But I've also been asked to work on a film in Nebraska. It's based on a book from UNL. One of the professors who wrote the book, and there's an option, and they've optioned the book, and I've asked them to work on that film. And that film is by 2 very, very highly acclaimed award-winning people. So I will be working on their film with them. It will not be produced by me, but I will be working with them. But I also have a romantic comedy that I've been writing because it's completely out of my wheelhouse and I want to do something different. So I'll be working on that. And that is very likely to be produced before 8 Days with Karen just because it's moving faster. Whether the next thing is a feature or a long short of mine, we don't know, but it'll be something. But the film that we're working on is a larger budget film. We're very excited that it's coming, hopefully, to Nebraska and everything's going to work. And for the people who have worked with me successfully, I will try my gosh darndest to get you on these projects. So.
And then finally, this is my question, and it seems like an obvious one, but I know that there are people in the audience who are wondering, what advice do you give to young writers, filmmakers, or actors, producers, anyone who wants to be involved in filmmaking in some way? What would you tell them to do?
Hustle. Hustle and show up and hustle and don't have excuses. Be able to solve problems and don't be a pain. Be easy to work with. That is 100% the easiest thing. Matter of fact, Saturday night I was in Sioux Falls. The wonderful guys at Backlot 605 invited us, and we sat, and 3 producers sat in a room. And we, you know what we talked about? We talked about cast, and we talked about crew, and who is easy to work with and who is not. So be easy to work with, because it was really great. And I know I got somebody a gig that just from that discussion. Be easy to work with and be flexible. The most important thing.
And if you have an idea for a film, write it down. Write it in a short story, write it in a script form, but write it down. Don't come to one of us going, I got this great idea for a film. Just listen to it and maybe you'll use it. No. Everybody has great ideas for films. I've used this joke before, but I'm not going to say it here because it may be inappropriate, but it has to do with something that everybody has and most of it doesn't smell too good.
Yeah.
Okay? But write it down. Then we'll look at
I would agree with Leslie. Go to festivals, watch short films, and learn. Talk to Bob Zahnizer. You know who Bob Zahnizer is? Talk to Bob Zahnizer. He's the film whiz. And find these people like Melanie and people who really know their film and ask them what you should be watching. And watch great things.
Okay, that's it for our Q&A. All right, and there is an after party at Johnny Bird's. It'll be set up in about 15-20 minutes, and everyone is welcome. There's going to be a little bit of food and a cash bar, so we invite you to join us. And I was asked to retrieve these beautiful
Thank you.
objects.
Thank you.
I just want to say a few things about Mike because he's the one that's worked however many hundreds and hundreds of hours on this production, and he's been such an amazing director, and the dialogue that he wrote made it so easy for us actors to find ourselves in the story, and I think it made it relatable. I saw a lot of people out there, crying in the audience because it's, stuff that we can all relate to. And I just want to give some honor and credit to Mike White for the amazing job he did and the hours and hours he put into this. So give a huge round of applause for Mike White.
All right, we can have the cast and crew stand and guys show them how much you appreciate what they did.
With everything that's left, the world to police said, everything considered, it's been wasted. I'm on deaf ears again. I'm up in tears again. Can't help but think it's all been wasted, wasted. Trying to find the day, and trying to make it end. It's not my efforts, it's been wasted, wasted. Fucking up again, I'm out of luck again. It's something that we gotta wasted, wasted. How can I even complicate things for the two of us? How could I even compromise what I believe in? I cannot let it pass me by. Why does it hurt so bad every fucking time? With everything that's left, the words the police said, everything considered, it's been wasted, wasted. Open ears again, I'm up in tears again. Can't help but think it's all been wasted, wasted. I tried to fight the day, and had to make it end. It's not my efforts, it's been wasted, wasted. Fucking up again, I'm out of luck again. Those words are never gonna wasted, wasted. Wasted, wasted. Wasted, wasted. How could you expect me to let it all out? And I can't even scream without it now. And I don't want to become another face, another wreck that's taking up too much space. Everything looks like the words the police said. Everything considered, it's been wasted, wasted. Fell on deaf ears again, I'm up in tears again. Can't help but think it's all been wasted, wasted.